Всем привет! Вы на канале Лорак, и в этом видео мы вместе с вами окунемся в атмосферу праздничного Лиюэ, а также поучаствуем в знаменательном для всего региона событии праздник морских фонарей. Но перед этим небольшая ремарка, что нужно знать и помнить, чтобы было понятнее и интереснее смотреть прохождение. В данный момент Лиюэ управляет организацией Цзисин, состоящей из 7 лидеров, каждый из которых ответственен за свое направление. По мере прохождения событий нам встретится Нингуан, негласный лидер, величественная аристократка, отвечающая за свод законов. Китсын, человек действия, управляющий казной, а также отвечающая за всю недвижимость и строительство. И Ганюй, настоящий трудоголик и генеральный секретарь всей организации. Упоминается Син нельзя обойти стороной Джун Ли, он же Морекс, Рекс Ляпис, Властелин Камня или Геоархонт. До событий первого тома основного сюжета именно он, как основатель Лиюэ, приглядывал за страной и в том числе раз в год во время обряда нисхождения спускался с небес в облике дракона и давал прогнозы, которые определяли бизнес-тенденции в стране на будущий год. Теперь же, после того, как он сложил свои полномочия и заключил контракт, завершающий все контракты, Морекс в образе смертного живет среди людей и учится понимать их, а заодно подрабатывает консультантом в ритуальном бюро Ваншен. И как все дороги ведут в Рим, так все истории в Лиюэ либо берут свое начало, либо приводят нас своими извилистыми тропами к Джунли. И это событие не стало исключением.
It must be fate that brings us together in this place. How have you fared as of late? Setbacks are inevitable over the course of a long journey. If you wish to share what's troubling you, allow me to lend my ear. There is no need to shoulder all burdens by yourself. You are too kind.
So, Zhang-Li, are you here to listen to stories over tea again?
I had originally planned to set out after this last round of tea. However, I had planned to take a walk to Chingsa village and gather some nascent bamboo shoots, which are currently in season. A villager there once gave me a small sample, and they possessed a most excellent flavor.
Huh? Nascent bamboo shoots? Why can't you just use normal bamboo shoots instead? Wait, Paimon knows! Because Zhang-Li prefers the finer things in life, right? Okay, Mr. Particular, let me guess. Ahem. The nascent bamboo shoot has a uniquely tender texture and a delicate sweet taste that its normal cousin cannot match.
An astute observation, Paimon. You know me well indeed.
Итак, Джунли выдает нам задание, которое по всем правилам и канонам сторителлинга обещает превратиться в увлекательное приключение, начавшееся с одной маленькой детали. И причем заметьте, какой он проныра. Хитрый дракон соблазняет нас сладкими речами, чувственно описывая детали приготовления блюда, расхваливая суп. А потом такой: «Не, я не при делах, и вообще даже в мыслях не было просить вас о чем-то». Но мы сами с радостью соблазняемся, за поручение таки беремся и в состоянии сладкого предвкушения вкусно покушать отправляемся в путь. Дорога приводит нас на окраину деревни Конце. Мы спокойно собираем молодые побеги бамбука, как вдруг слышим крик о помощи.
Did you hear that? Someone's calling for help! It's coming from over there! Are you okay? Did any water go down the wrong pipe?
I think I'm okay now. Thank you so much.
That was scary. Well, at least you're all right. All thanks to your savior here. Oh, a little girl? Greetings, everyone. My name is Yao Yao. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Whoa, she's so well-mannered. My name's Paimon, and this is the traveler.
I'm Dvorak, a musician from Fontaine. I came through Stone Gate intending to head towards Liyue Harbor, but then I became captivated by the beautiful scenery, and before long, I was completely lost.
Из разговора с мистером Деворжиком мы узнаем, что его так зачаровали пейзажи Лиюэ, что сначала он свернул не туда и потерялся, а затем и вовсе, пока крутил головой да рассматривал красоты горной местности, поскользнулся и упал в воду. Милая Яо-Яо в своем очаровании отчитывает музыканта за излишнюю беспечность, но после быстро сменяет гнев на милость и кормит всех печеньем. Пайман в восторге. После вкусного обеда по закону Архимеда полагается... Нет-нет, не поспать, конечно же поболтать. Дворжик рассказывает нам, что он из Фонтейна и является главным организатором тура «Многоцветье», одного из крупнейших музыкальных фестивалей его страны. Зачем он прибыл в Лиюэ? Ну, официальная причина продвижения фестиваля, а вот неофициальная.
The story goes that my ancestor, who was also a traveler, once slipped and fell into a lake during his travels. As he was sinking and gasping for breath, he heard a wondrous tune in the air. They say it was the most beautiful, moving melody he had ever heard. Even in that life and death moment, the ethereal music seized his full attention and almost made him forget the fact that he was drowning. When he finally came to, he found that he had already been brought ashore. Not too far from him stood an unfamiliar woman with an almost divine aura. Once she saw that he was no longer in danger, she left without a word. My ancestor tried to run after her to give his thanks, but although a mere dozen paces separated them, no matter how quickly he gave chase, he drew no closer and remained a dozen paces behind. In the end, all he could do was to bow in thanks to the woman as he watched her walk away towards the rivers and mountains in the distance, before at last he turned around and made his way home. Once he returned to Fontaine, he began to learn an instrument so that he could spread his story far and wide, just like the bards. After generations of retelling, embellishing, and dramatizing, people have come to think of that lady as something like a fairy. The story's become something of a local legend in Fontaine. It's called the Lady Overlooking the Lake. People now say that if you go down to the lakeside and play an instrument, so long as you play a pleasing melody, you will hear a fairy lady who is hiding out of sight, playing along with you.
Wow!
В нынешнем виде легенда стала слишком уж романтичной и оторванной от реальности, говорит Деворжик, но мечта узнать правду о том, кто же была та небожительница, продолжает гореть в его груди. Он признает, что возможностей узнать о прошлом все меньше и меньше, ведь годы идут, и за время своих странствий он выяснил лишь то, что это произошло где-то в Лиюэ. Нас одолевает любопытство. Еще одна таинственная история на нашем пути, и чтобы мы, легендарные искатели приключений, ее и не разгадали. И следующим шагом наша дружная компания решает навестить Ганьюй. Сначала позволим себе минутку любования Лиюэ, дабы прочувствовать атмосферу праздника и волшебства.
Wow, Liyue Harbor looks very different from when I came last. It's almost as if I'm listening to the same melody, but with a richer timbre and new variations added.
Well, we are here during Lantern Rite after all. It only comes once a year, so they always have a big celebration. It's fair to say that this time of year is when Liyue Harbor looks the prettiest.
Great, let's go and check it out. I can't wait to get into the city and see it all up close for myself.
А первой, кого мы встречаем после каменных ворот, оказывается Синьянь, молодая амбициозная рокерша.
So, what brings you to Liyue Harbor at this time of year anyway? Thinking of putting on a music festival during the Lantern Rite celebrations?
A Lantern Rite music festival? Yes, please!
No, I'm actually here on personal business this time.
Oh, so no Lantern Rite music festival?
I mean, that's not just up to me. Hosting a music festival takes a lot of funding and personnel. Moreover, I've never worked with the Liyue authorities before. Even if I were to start putting something together right now, I think it'd be too rushed.
Wait, but we're going to meet the Liyue Qixing, aren't we? And they're the ones in charge. Uh-huh, that's right. Miss Kuching and Miss Ningguang can make anything happen.
Применив всю свою красноречивость, младшему поколению таки удается убедить Деворжака хотя бы попытаться организовать музыкальный фестиваль. При исполненной решимости мы идем к дворцу Цисин, а по пути встречаем мадам Пин.
Oh, it's Master! Is it okay if I go and say hi to her?
Oh, calm down now, dear. I'm not about to run off anywhere. I'm not a bundle of energy like you.
I haven't seen you in days, Master! I've missed you.
Oh, bless you, Yao Yao. You do say the sweetest things. Ah, look who it is. Visiting friends during the lantern rite, are we?
После обмена теплыми приветствиями мы просим мадам Пин поделиться с нами своей мудростью и рассказать, что она думает про организацию музыкального фестиваля.
You're an elder of Liyue, and you know all about Liyue's cultural traditions. Hearing your thoughts would definitely help us figure out how best to approach it. For example, do you think it might be a bit too modern, or is there any other issue?
Why, not at all. Music pays homage to history and culture, and it can also be a bridge between different civilizations. Times change, and the music enjoyed by the youngsters of today is no doubt very different from the tunes I was accustomed to in my youth. Nevertheless, all fine things in life can be appreciated. And so, I look forward to it immensely.
Немного побегав, покуролесив и пособирав цветочки, мы добегаем и до Ганьюй. И снова видим, как милой Яо-Яо приходится заботиться о неразумных взрослых.
I know you've had a lot to deal with at work recently, but you shouldn't push yourself too hard. If you're not careful, you'll end up falling asleep in the grass again. Well, this is weird. It's like a responsible younger sister talking to their disorganized older sister.
После маленькой сцены смущения в лице прекрасной, но порой чрезмерно небрежной по отношению к себе Ганьюй, мы рассказываем ей о Деворжаке, легенде, воспетой Фонтейне, и нашей идее провести музыкальный фестиваль. Взвесив все за и против, Ганьюй решает нам помочь. И пока усердные взрослые обсуждают свои скучно взрослые дела, мы вновь немного сплетничаем с Яо-Яо.
As soon as there's work to do, Ganyu's as diligent as ever. I couldn't agree more. Master once said that everyone has things that they are good at and things that they are less good at. So, with that in mind, Ganyu shouldn't feel compelled to become perfect at absolutely everything. I'm good at taking care of people, so that can be left to me.
И, снова посмущав Ганьюй, спешим удалиться, а следующий пункт назначения – это же место через 2 часа. В этот раз к разговору о музыкальном концерте вместе с Ганьюй присоединяется ее коллега по работе Кицин. В следующие несколько дней она будет работать вместе с Деворжаком, помогая музыканту с организацией концерта. А мы вместе с Ганьюй пойдем по пути легенды об озерной деве в поисках истины и заодно заглянем к своим полубожественным друзьям, мало ли что они вспомнят и что поведают. Дальше по ходу событий нам дает время пройти дополнительные квесты, но мы с вами не будем отвлекаться и пойдем дальше по сюжету. Поговорим об адептах. Термин «адепт» переводится как «последователь». В мире Геншина адепты Лiyue – это мистические существа, присягнувшие на верность скалистой гавани, то есть они буквально последователи или, если так будет удобнее, стражи спокойствия региона. Почти все адепты заключили контракт с Мороксом и обязаны защищать Liyue от угроз. Перед смертными адепты предстают либо в образе божественных зверей, либо в образе людей, хотя доподлинно известно, что то, в какой форме находится тот или иной адепт, зависит от его желания. В образе зверя пред нами предстает хранительница облаков, занимающаяся созданием или усовершенствованием различных механизмов, а также творец гор и владыка лун. Информации о последних двух откровенно мало, но в сюжетной ветке Liyue оба присутствуют и часто делятся информацией с путешественником. Также у хранительницы облаков есть свои ученицы, Ганьюй, родившаяся от союза человека и божественного зверя, и также заключившая контракт с Морксом, а после поступившая на службу в Цесин, и Шиньхэ, смертная, нареченная ученицей адептов. И последнее, о ком мы вспомним, Яксы, элитный отряд воинов-адептов, созданный Мороксом для борьбы с демонами. Когда-то давным-давно Якс было много, однако 5 из них были признаны сильнейшими. К сожалению, в живых из них остался только адепт Сяо. Возвращаемся к истории. Спустя 2 дня мы снова спешим в Ганьюй, чтобы обсудить догадки по поводу загадочной спасительницы из легенды об озерной деве.
Since last time, I've been thinking a lot about the story Paimon told me. In essence, someone rescued a drowning man and performed some music. If that were all there was to it, it could have been many people, human or adeptus. But the tune was allegedly so wonderful that the drowning man forgot about everything else, even his own impending death, and only came to his senses after being brought to shore. Perhaps there was an adeptal power at work in that music that he, as a mortal, could not perceive. Or perhaps he sensed a power surrounding him but lacked the words to describe it, not knowing where it came from. Either way, if this part of the story is true, then the rescuer has to have been an adeptus. As far as I'm aware, Cloud Retainer isn't the most musically gifted. Still, we can't completely rule her out just yet. If we set off now, we could head to Mount Outsung and ask her about it.
На то мы порешили. Но вот незадача. Победителей адептов никого нет. Но наши герои не лыком шитые, и потому с подачи Паймон решают, что раз им нужно найти адепта, спасшего утопающего, то почему бы самим не попасть в беду и не подождать, когда адепт придет и спасет их. Так и искать никого не придется, адепт сам найдется. Смею заметить, это довольно необычный способ поисков. Давайте посмотрим, чем эта затея закончилась.
Help! Help! Someone's drowning! If only there was a kind-hearted adeptus here to save us! Oh no! Whatever will a Paimon do?
What is going on?
How do you feel right now? Shenhe! And the Conqueror of Demons.
Why don't you say something? Please don't make Paimon explain it. Okay, fine. Paimon will explain. We're looking for an adeptus who's good at being a lifeguard and playing music. But if the adepti aren't gonna stay home, then how are we supposed to find them?
It wasn't me.
Yeah, so this adeptus is most likely a woman.
And I am not an adeptus, as you both already know, Traveler and Paimon.
Okay, so this is Paimon's fault. No way Paimon would have suggested this idea if she'd known how awkward this was gonna be.
Glad you're okay. As far as I know, the one you seek is no Yaksha. And one last thing. Your actions here caused others a great deal of worry. Do not repeat them again in the future.
As ever, the Conqueror of Demons comes and goes, just like the wind. Right. I didn't dare to say a word just now. How's your training going, Shenhe? Have you made any plans for Lantern Rite? We could spend it together in Liyue Harbor if you'd like. I had planned to spend the festival with Master this year. However... Oh, speaking of Cloud Retainer, when did you see her last? Earlier this morning. She set off for Mount Hulao at dawn. I noticed she was using an adeptus art of some kind to protect a mechanism that looked like a boiler. Maybe it was a gift for Mountain Shaper. I did not inquire. So we just missed her. Please excuse me for a moment. I think I'll leave the gift in her abode. Sure. Thank you.
sounds like Ganyu and Shenhe have gotten a lot closer recently.
Yes. During the summer and winter, I continue to train with Master. In the other months of the year, I have been learning to adapt to human life in Liyue Harbor. Ganyu arranged accommodations for me in the city, and also recommended several work positions for me. But when I try to blend in by referring to her as Miss Ganyu or Lady Ganyu, like the others, she says I mustn't address her like that. Sometimes I'm supposed to copy other people. Sometimes I'm not. It's a little difficult to keep track of everything. Oh, is that what it is? Noted. So, you came looking for Master today because you wanted to ask her about the mystery adeptus. Is that right?
Yep. Oh, speaking of that, have you ever heard any music while out training in the mountains?
Music? What is that?
It's a kind of a happy or relaxing sound, or a nerve-wracking sound, or even a terrifying one.
Okay, I'm done. I also left her a note so that she knows where to find us. We won't miss her again.
Yay! That's really helpful, thanks!
We were just talking about this thing called music, and based on Paimon's description, I do believe I hear it every day. Please follow me.
И вот мы следуем за Шаньхэ, но...
The faint sound of birdsong, the quiet murmur of the streams.
Paimon wasn't quite done with the description. Okay, fine, it's all Paimon's fault. What we're looking for are not the sounds of nature, but melodies played on special instruments.
And a melody is?
Hey, don't you patronize Paimon! Let's get one thing straight. Paimon knows plenty of nursery rhymes, but Paimon does not sing on demand without payment. Hey, why don't you just sing that one melody Shen has heard before? It'll probably help her to understand what we're talking about.
Oh, was that from the opera that Yunjin sang?
That was a melody, and melodies can be called music.
When you hummed that melody just now, feelings from a whole year ago came right back to me, as strong as they were on that day. So that's the power of music.
Music definitely has the power to bring up memories. It's like a time capsule with all the special moments from our life squished inside.
Итак, разговор плавно перетекает в музыке к тому, кто и как планирует праздновать фестиваль морских фонарей, как в обитель адептов возвращается хранительница облаков, которой, оказывается, давным-давно известно, кто та небесная спасительница, которую мы ищем. На этом моменте мы прощаемся с Шаньхэ и спешим за адептом, что поведает нам тайну возникновения легенды об озерной деве. Но сначала автоп. Где-то около сюжетной ветки Лiyue игрок может наткнуться на задание, связанное с долиной Гуйли и Гуйджун, погибшим архонтом пыли. И я чуть-чуть напомню, в чем там было дело. Гуйджун, она же архонт пыли, в прошлом близкая подруга Геоархонта и соосновательница долины Гуйли. До войны архонтов они вместе правили ассамблеей Гуйли, защищая, оберегая и мудростью направляя живших там людей. Во времена войны архонтов Гуйджун вместе с другими адептами встает на защиту своего народа, отважно сражаясь с темными богами и монстрами, но, к сожалению, погибает. После ее смерти Морокс направляет выживших на юг, чтобы те основали город, который сейчас называется гаванью Лиюэ. Покинутая долина Гуйли приходит в запустение. Итак, возвращаемся к разговору с хранительницей облаков. Едва поспевая за божественным адептом, мы прибегаем в долину Гуйли. Хранительница облаков начинает свой рассказ с воспоминаний о былых днях, когда на весе долины еще стояло процветающее поселение, а архонт пыли часто приглашал друзей к себе в обитель. Архонты и адепты сидели за огромным каменным столом, и кто-то, зазерцатель морей, хвастался своими излюбленными сокровищами, найденными им на дне морском. Кто-то беседовал, кто-то мирно попивал чай или вино, слушая переливы ноты струн, а за трапезу, конечно же, отвечал бог очага. Также постоянной гостьей Архонта Пыли была владыка песен и скитаний. Она часто оставалась любоваться цветами вместе с Куйджун, прежде чем вернуться в свою обитель.
Streetward Rambler?
That would be Ping. You probably know her as Madam Ping.
Oh, okay. Wait, this is a lovely story and everything, but didn't we come here to find that adeptus from Mr. Dvorak's story? Or are you saying that it was Guizhong? Didn't she, already,
Alas, long has one avoided this place for precisely that reason. The sights here are a reminder of a time long gone, and evoke much sorrow.
In times gone by, one quarreled oft with Guizhong concerning mechanical principles. We each had our ideals, and neither would yield. Under the pretext of a social gathering, one invited the impartial Rex Lapis to judge the quality of our creations. But Rex Lapis declared that Guizhong's obscuro vulpus mechanism was superior. Though one was too proud to acknowledge it, in one's heart, one knew that Guizhong was indeed the superior talent in the mechanical arts. As for the story between Guizhong and Streetward Rambler, that begins with a certain bell. In Guizhong's opinion, while mechanisms were no substitute for human composers, they were yet capable of producing simple but fine melodies. But Streetward Rambler believed music to be an expression of the soul, an emotional enterprise that could never hope to be replicated by machinery. They argued endlessly, until one asked Rex Lapis to intercede. He confiscated the bell and designated it for ceremonial use. Thereafter, one would often find them convening in the mountains, discussing music, mechanics, and all the affairs of the mortal world. But these good times were not to last. War broke out between the gods, and soon engulfed the Guili plains. Guizhong was overpowered by the enemy, and fell in battle. When Streetward Rambler and I arrived at the scene at long last, all that remained among the ruins was her lifeless body. After this, at Streetward Rambler's request, Rex Lapis granted her the cleansing bell for safekeeping. To honor our friend's memory, one made a few finishing touches to her ballistic device. Many lantern rites have passed since then. Many greetings and goodbyes. Upon what do you gaze? The Guili Plains?
No. It's everything. We think of human life as like a lantern that's lit one minute and extinguished the next. But are we adepti so different? Perhaps as dust settles after a storm, we too must one day return to the world below.
One has always been austere and private by nature, and has never relished socializing. One's dealings with Guizhong were born out of discussions on the discipline of mechanics. But in the end, one is nothing like Streetward Rambler. She is dauntless but thoughtful, not to mention eloquent and wise. Moreover, her friendship with Guizhong was far greater than one's own. Back when they were rivals, they would often compete against one another in the realm of musical composition. After all, we all have known each other for several millennia. Some things between us are implicitly understood. The two once clashed over their beliefs about the meaning of music. Who would have thought that with Guizhong's passing and streetward ramblers' mourning, two tunes composed in discord would eventually become one harmonious composition? Once upon a time, Streetwood Rambler also loved gatherings, liquor, and music. But after Guizhong passed, she preferred her own company. She could often be found sitting alone at a mountain summit, contemplating and reminiscing with her zither. The music would go from mournful to soothing to impassioned. Many years passed before she finally composed a melody to her satisfaction. In celebration, she played the tune to the clouds. Regrettably, one has only ever heard her play that tune once. Which brings one back to the matter you've been investigating. Perhaps it was during that performance that the ancestor of your Fontaine friend fell into the water and was saved by Streetwood Rambler.
But if she was so happy with the melody, why would she only play it once?
One was also greatly perplexed by this. After suppressing one's curiosity for a long while, one finally approached her and asked why she would retire the tune after having spent so long on it. In response, she said, "Though the strings that played that melody survive, the one who inspired it is gone. Tell me, Cloud Retainer, when the one attuned to my soul is no longer here, who else could hope to understand this tune?"
Так мы и узнаем о прошлом адептов и архонтов из Лиюэ, а также об истории их дружбы и горькой утрате, из которой родилась песня, сыгранная лишь раз. Именно ее тогда услышал предок Дворжака, и становится понятно, почему он был ею так впечатлен и почему родилась легенда.
As of now, you know the truth. That the adeptus who rescued the drowning man was none other than Streetwood Rambler. Do you intend to discuss this with her?
Do you mean Ping might find the topic too distressing?
Precisely. The passing of our old friend is a heavy topic that both of us are usually careful to avoid.
If I may be so bold, Cloud Retainer, could it be that this is just your own personal opinion?
Oh? How so?
I've been in Leo Harbor for quite a long time now, and I've witnessed many farewells along the way. But this doesn't bring the city or its people to a standstill. They have to keep moving forward. No loss can ever be undone. But there is always much that can still be gained. Ping has helped countless people, and will guide many others in the years to come. And all to whom she extends a helping hand become her friends. People she can admire flowers and discuss music with.
Сила музыки невероятна. Она способна вдохновить и успокоить, выразить всю мятежность и глубину наших чувств. Утрата, скорбь, принятие и смирение. Благодарность за прошлое и движение вперед. Прекрасная история. Думаю, что точка в ней должна быть поставлена словами самой мадам Пинг.
Whoa! Madam Ping? And Cloud Retainer?
It appears you made haste after all. One arrived but moments before you.
Oh, bless my soul. To what do I owe the honor? How nice of you all to come and visit me.
Miss Illuminated Bird, haven't you said anything yet?
Said what, precisely? And why should one be tasked with saying it?
because you're the one who's known Madam Ping the longest.
Street word. Or rather, presumably, you would prefer to be addressed as Ping?
Oh, Cloud Retainer, you are uncommonly polite today.
Given that Lantern Rite is almost upon us, the weather in the city is most pleasant, and a sweet floral fragrance lingers in the air. Ganyu, please continue from here.
All right. So, this all started because we were trying to help Mr. Dvorak find the Adeptus who saved his ancestor's life. Cloud Retainer informed us that the one who played that melody and rescued the drowning man was none other than yourself.
Let me think. Yes, I do believe I recall that encounter. What a long time ago that was. I'm surprised that you still remember it. Even more astonishing, perhaps, is the fact that this story has survived this long at all, when mortal lives are so very brief. It appears that she has proven herself right once again.
Who's she?
We like to call her Guizhong. From the look in Cloud Retainer's eyes, I sense that she has already told you all about her.
Albeit reluctantly, one might add.
There is no harm done. After all, Lantern Rite's very purpose is to commemorate the heroes who gave their lives for Liyue. Although Guizhong did not live to see the splendid sights of today, she was as much a hero as any other.
So how has she proven herself right again exactly?
Once upon a time, she said to me that humans were a weak form of life that she wished to protect with her wisdom. But as she interacted more and more with them, her opinions on them began to change. She marveled at the beautiful complexity of their spirits, the sheer splendor of all they could accomplish through their hard work and intelligence. She told us that to underestimate human potential would be to make a grave mistake. With the smallest amount of guidance, enormous power can be unleashed in them, and a human who has reached their full potential may well be her equal. Someone who could have as much to teach an Adeptus as to learn from them. When I see the sight of Liyue Harbor before us today, I am reminded of this.
Madam Ping looks very emotional right now.
Of all of us, it was Guizhong who was the fondest of these grand and exciting occasions. If she were still with us, I'm quite sure she would still be trying to best Cloud Retainer's finest works at every opportunity.
Liyue Harbor is always filled with the sound of music at this time of the year. If she were here, one is certain that she would seek you out to discuss and debate the virtues of various melodies.
Oh yeah, music! We've been dying to ask. What was the melody that you played back then? Oh, also, with you being such a music expert and all, why don't you join the concert as a performer?
I can make arrangements right away.
Oh, as much as I don't wish to dampen your enthusiasm, it's been a long time since I played this zither. My fingers don't have the dexterity they once did, and whenever I play that tune, it always reminds me of her. I start wondering what she would think of the changes I have made to her melody. There was a period of time whenever I started strumming, it almost felt like she was back again. sitting right there on the stone stool next to me, chatting away. Skybracer and Seagazer too, looking just like they did in the old days. No matter how much time goes by, the moment that melody starts playing, it transports me right back to that time in my memory.
So the past still weighs heavily on your heart?
Oh, I would be lying to myself if I claimed to have completely moved on. But that is not to say that grief doesn't get easier with time. Despite the sadness, I have found many things that bring me joy in life. It is simply the nature of the world in which we live that even if one wished to mourn for an eternity, it would be a nigh impossible feat.
It takes an honest and open mind to confront and conquer grief. You have indeed made progress.
When you next see the Fontaine musician, please give him my regards. I'd like to wish him the very best with the concert.
You got it, Madam Ping.
Thank you all. I think you've listened to enough of my nattering for one day. As for that melody, I will play it for you all another time. Goodness knows I need to practice it first.
Wow, that'd be great. We'll look forward to it.
When that time comes, wherever her spirit may be among the countless grains of sand and specks of dust between the harbor and the mountains, perhaps she will look at the Liyue of today and steal a smile when she sees the prosperous land that it has become.
Past meets present. Heritage becomes legacy.
Дальше мы вновь занимаемся организацией концерта. Ну, как организацией? Моральной и словесной поддержкой выступающих. Начинаем, конечно же, с мистера Деворжака, которому рассказываем о том, что мадам Пин – та таинственная личность из легенды об озерной деве, спасшей его предка.
I see. So the melody my ancestor heard was an adeptus remembering her late friend? That certainly explains why it was such a powerful and poignant tune. I think... yes. I must thank her in person.
Speaking of, Madam Ping wishes you all the best at the music festival. Paimon has a sneaking suspicion that she'll stay in her usual spot but listen to the performances from afar.
Wait, are you serious? Oh no, now I'm starting to get nervous. Okay, all right. Nope, another rehearsal is in order. Please excuse me, everyone.
Затем спешим повидаться с Синьянь, Юдзинь и Хотао, занятых подготовкой к выступлению. Последняя, пользуясь случаем, приглашает нас на банкет-дружеские посиделки после фестиваля.
All right, let's take a break here.
That should be everything taken care of, right? Oh, no, wait. Paimon feels like she's forgetting something. What was it? Oh, it feels like it was a while ago. Shoot! Latent... Wait, no. Anyway, fancy bamboo shoots! Zhang-Li said he wasn't in a hurry, so if we went now, there's probably still time, right?
И напоследок мы таки вспоминаем о нашем изначальном поручении – найти молодые побеги бамбука для супа. Опустим тот факт, что мы где-то шатались 5 дней, и поспешим к Джинли.
Paimon sees them! It's illuminated deer and illuminated bird number 2!
A familiar face. Have you come from Liyue Harbor? How is the city nowadays?
Everything's great! But you know, if you're so curious, you can always go and check it out for yourself!
In fact, Mooncarver has been taking many walks on Mount Tianheng in recent times. I believe the sights of the city are quite familiar to him.
Zhang-Li! Here you are! We've brought the bamboo shoots you wanted.
Impeccable timing. Traditionally, bamboo shoot soup ought to be slow-cooked for many hours on low heat. Using Adeptus arts to hasten the process is something of a shortcut.
Wait, that mechanism, is that?
Indeed. Cloud Retainer kindly lent me her supreme cuisine machine. I trust that you found the answers you were seeking during your recent journey? Excellent. The past should be remembered, but not overly dwelt upon. Our journey should be seen as a means to take on more from the world around us. When the bamboo shoot soup is ready, I must insist that you try some for yourself.
Конечно, проделав такой путь, мы не можем не воспользоваться ситуацией и не попробовать изысканного супа. А сейчас даю вам немного времени настроиться на просмотр финального музыкального выступления в честь праздника морских фонарей. Глубоко вздохните, улыбнитесь и прочувствуйте атмосферу торжества, праздника и веселья.
I'm honored to be here on the Iridescence Tour stage. All right, without further ado, I'm Xinyan, this is Hutao, and this is a little something called...
The Blaze Lilies!
I'm up here blazing trails through the midnight sky, lighting up the world below. And when the crowds all hear my voice, they'll meet the spirit of rock and roll.
Let's go! Hey, you butterfly, you two buzzing by, guiding your way to the afterlife, opening the path without a fright. Oh, I'll light the fire, watch it blaze across the universe. I'll spit my rhymes, watch you step, or you'll get burned. Hey, woo!
Does anyone have any plans tomorrow? With another year behind us, I think we deserve a celebration of our own. My treat. Interested?
The Tianquan footing the bill? I can't miss out on that.
Master, listen!
May the year ahead be a blessed one.
I believe it shall be.
Master, the Shao Lanterns,
Ha! Elementary. One shall fashion for you a Shao Lantern the likes of which the world has never seen. And you must take it to Liyue Harbor to display its magnificence for all.
Listen! That must be Madame Ping!
На этом прекрасном моменте завершается вторая глава нашего события, и так как третья сильно отличается по настроению, теме, идеи, я решила вынести ее в отдельное видео. Всем спасибо за просмотр, и продолжение следует. До встречи, путешественники!